Hi everyone, welcome to Bible Made Easy podcast. I'm Brother George. Thanks for joining me. What are some major philosophical and emotional roadblocks to belief in God? And how do you resolve them? Many people have philosophical and emotional roadblocks to belief that cloud their thinking and cause them to reject the idea of God or think that if there is one, he must be bad. In this and the next episode, I'll explore some of these roadblocks and how to get around them. The existence of evil and suffering. If you or one of your loved ones is suffering right now or has been on the receiving end of evil, then this gets really personal for you. And I can understand. My own experiences of having kidney failure at a young age and being kept alive by a kidney dialysis machine for years now, and my first wife's sudden passing away also at a very young age, put me face to face with the kind of personal anguish and devastation that could easily make anyone either doubt or reject God. But I found that it just doesn't help to cut God out of the picture at such times. Evil and suffering are going to exist whether there is a God or not, and we'll still have to deal with them. If there's no God, then the existence of evil and suffering, the strong eating the weak, etc., are completely natural and just the way things are. We might not like that fact, but we would have no reason to complain or blame anyone because there would be no one to blame, except nature itself. So if you got hit with suffering, well then it's just tough luck. You're just going to have to accept that fate was against you and deal with it. World-famous evolutionary biologist and critic of religion Richard Dawkins himself admitted the hopelessness of the atheistic worldview. He said, "In a universe of blind physical forces and genetic replication, some people are going to get hurt. Other people are going to get lucky, and you won't find any rhyme or reason in it, nor any justice. The universe we observe has precisely the properties we should expect if there is, at bottom, no design, no purpose, no evil and no good, nothing but a blind, pitiless indifference." Atheism doesn't care about you and offers no comfort, justice, rhyme or reason for your suffering. But if the God of the Bible does exist, then you've got a loving Creator who's not indifferent to suffering, who can comfort you and help you make some sense out of it. His reasons might not be completely understandable, but at least you've got some explanation, and you can have peace knowing that He loves you and has your best interests at heart. As New York Times best-selling author and pastor, the late Dr. Timothy Keller of Redeemer Church in New York once said, "Just because we can't think of a good reason why God allows bad things to happen doesn't mean that there isn't a good reason." In my own experiences, I did come to see some good reasons for my suffering, such as making me more understanding of others, humbler, wiser concerning life and what my priorities should be, making me grateful for the blessings I do have, and many more. And it wasn't God's plan to insert evil into His creation. He created a perfect world to begin with and wanted it to remain so, but left it up to us to choose to obey and love Him and others. But sadly, evil forces entered into the world because of Satan's rebellion and Adam and Eve's choices. And we, by our ungodly choices, allow evil to flourish. But why doesn't God put a stop to evil? Firstly, to respect our free will. He could have been the ultimate dictator and created us like robots that mechanically obey Him without any personal decision-making power. Or He could have allowed free will, but continually threatened us with severe punishment for misdeeds and forced obedience out of fear. But He didn't. Instead, He gave up the authority He could have had over our lives to allow us the freedom to commit the ultimate injustice, that is, to spurn the one to whom we owe our existence. This ensures that our relationships with Him and each other are based on genuine love. In fact, love for God and others cannot be real genuine love if there isn't also a choice to dislike or even to hate. But His respect for our free will doesn't mean that He's completely hands-off either, leaving us to our own devices. From the moment Adam and Eve rebelled, He's been on a relentless campaign to bring us back to Himself and to limit the effects of evil. He's given us a conscience which we could listen to. He sent prophets to teach us His ways. He directly intervened to discipline the violent and depraved through the Great Flood and other judgments. He even came to earth Himself in the form of Jesus Christ in order to do something about it. So whatever the reasons God, for now, continues to allow evil and suffering, one reason that He cannot have is that He doesn't care. And the Bible does promise that Jesus will return one day and put an eventual end to all evil and judge and punish evildoers. Atheism offers no such hope. I covered this topic extensively on another podcast. Please see the link in the show notes or description below. Religious wars and negative experiences with religious people. Just as one of the main avenues for people to come to belief is encountering a person of faith who is a real deal living example of God's existence and love, the reverse is also true. A major reason people reject belief is bad example religious people. Again, it doesn't help to cut God out of the picture. Every group of people has bad apples in them, and Christians are no different. But be sure that God doesn't condone bad behavior in Christians. That's why He holds His own people more accountable for sin. As 1 Peter 4:17 says, "Judgment must begin at the house of God." Misunderstanding the nature of God. Sadly, there are plenty of Bible teachers who teach erroneous doctrines that don't reflect the eternal love and mercy of God. They overemphasize judgment, have a distorted view of hell, more about this in the next episode, and require strict obedience to things not even mentioned in the Bible. But Jesus wasn't like that. If you remember anything, remember this: 1 John 4:8, God is love. And Psalm 136:1, His mercy endures forever. Any teaching that doesn't reflect these eternal truths is off in some way. Please join me again for part 2, and please be sure to subscribe, like, and share. God bless each one of you. Bye.